17 years! For 17 long years, I've replayed the same moment in my head. The day my own family, the people who were supposed to protect me, sold me. I was just a child, confused and terrified as I was handed over to strangers. They told me it was for a better life, but the life I got was one of hardship and struggle. Every night, I'd lie awake, staring at the ceiling, picturing their faces.
My father, avoiding my gaze.
My mother, with tears that felt hollow. My older brother, who just stood there, silent. They didn't fight for me! They just died! Let me go! The memory became the fuel that kept me going. I promised myself that one day, I would return. Not as the helpless child they cast away, but as someone they couldn't ignore. The years that followed were a blur of challenges. I had to learn to be resilient, to rely on myself for everything. I worked odd jobs, saved every penny, and put myself through school. Education became my weapon. Knowledge became my armor. I learned about business, about investments, about building something from nothing because I had started with less than nothing. While they were living their lives, probably forgetting the child they'd sold, I was building an empire from the ashes of the life they'd destroyed. Each success was a stepping stone, bringing me closer to my goal. I wasn't just building a future for myself. I was building the leverage I would need to face them again.
Revenge, I learned, wasn't about a single act of anger.
It was a long, calculated game of chess. Finally, after 17 years, the time was right. I was no longer a ghost from their past. I was a successful entrepreneur, the head of a company that, ironically, was in a position to acquire the struggling business my father had spent his life building, the very business they had sold me to supposedly save. It was almost poetic. I arranged a meeting. When I walked into that boardroom, the air crackled with tension. My father, now older and grayer, sat at the head of the table. My brother was by his side, looking nervous. They didn't recognize me at first. To them, I was just another wealthy investor, another shark circling their failing enterprise. The look on their faces when my lawyer introduced me, it was priceless. My father's jaw dropped. My brother went pale. Suddenly, the past they had tried so hard to bury was sitting right in front of them, holding all the cards. I let the silence hang in the air for a moment, savoring the shock and confusion on their faces. I saw a flicker of fear in my father's eyes. The same fear I had felt as a child. 17 years is a long time, I said, my voice steady. Long enough for a person to change. Long enough for a forgotten debt to come due. I laid out the terms of the acquisition. I would save their company, their legacy, but it would be on my terms. Everything they had built would now be mine. My brother was the first to speak. He tried to apologize, stumbling over his words, talking about how they regretted it every day. But his apologies felt empty, just like my mother's tears all those years ago. They were sorry now because they were losing everything. Were they sorry when I was alone, fighting to survive? I don't think so. My father just sat there, defeated. He finally looked at me, really looked at me, and said, "We did it to save the family." It was the hardest decision of our lives. He expected sympathy. He expected me to understand. But how could I understand a choice that sacrificed a child for financial security? A choice that broke a family rather than saved it. You didn't save the family, I told him, my voice cold as ice. You shattered it. You just didn't have to live with the pieces. I saw the truth of those words hit him. This wasn't the triumphant, shouting match I had imagined as a kid. It was quiet, and it was devastating. The revenge I'd sought for so long didn't feel like a fiery explosion. It felt like a cold, quiet victory.
But as I stood there, looking at the broken man who was my father, I realized something.
Holding on to that anger for 17 years had shaped me. Yes, but it had also been a heavy burden. Taking over their company wasn't the end goal. The real victory was proving to myself that I could not only survive what they did to me, but thrive in spite of it.
I signed the papers, The company was mine.
But my revenge wasn't about destroying them. It was about showing them the person they had thrown away. It was about taking back the control they had stolen from me. I was finally free. Not because I had crushed them, but because I had finally closed that painful chapter of my life on my own terms. My story is a reminder that the past doesn't have to define your future. It's a reminder that your greatest strength can come from your deepest wounds. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't about payback. It is about building a life so full and successful that the people who hurt you become an insignificant footnote in your incredible story. I walked out of that boardroom and didn't look back. I had a new company to run, a new future to build. For the first time in 17 years, I wasn't driven by the past. I was driven by my own potential. I had come for revenge, but what I found was something far more valuable. Freedom.
I want to be clear about something.
My path was long and difficult, and if you're feeling trapped or hurt by your circumstances, especially by family, please know that you are not alone. There are people who want to help. Talking to a professional therapist or a counselor can provide you with the support and tools to navigate your own journey, healing, and strength. Seeking help is a sign of incredible courage. I never saw my biological family again after that day.
I heard they moved away.
Sometimes I wonder if they ever truly understood the gravity of their actions. But honestly, it doesn't matter anymore. I built my own family of loyal friends and colleagues who valued me for who I am, not for what I could be sold for. The company I acquired, I restructured it. I made it profitable, but I also made it a place where employees were treated with respect and dignity. I turned a symbol of my pain into a symbol of my success and my values. I ensured that no one under my leadership would ever feel as disposable as I once did. My story might sound like something out of a movie, but the feelings of betrayal and the desire to prove people wrong are very real for many of us. Use that fire. Don't let it consume you with bitterness, but let it forge you into someone stronger, smarter, and more compassionate than those who wronged you. Let your success be your answer. Let your happiness be your vindication. You don't need to destroy someone's world to fix your own.
You just need to build your own world so beautifully that their darkness can't touch you anymore.
That is the most powerful revenge of all. Thank you so much for listening to my story. It wasn't easy to share, but I hope it gives someone out there a little bit of strength. If you found this meaningful, please like and subscribe for more stories. Take care of yourselves, and remember how strong you are.